Let's get started with our first news. Justin Gaethje says he got fucked by the UFC. He's officially done fighting just for fun now. According to Gaethje, the UFC begged him to take the fight against Max Holloway at UFC 300, and in return, they booked Charles Olivera versus ILIA Topuria for the vacant lightweight title, leaving him feeling completely used. He expressed serious frustration about the situation and feels that the organization took advantage of his willingness to step up. Gaethje said, "I don't plan on ever fighting anywhere else, but I'm also not going to fight for fun anymore. They owe me a championship fight. I'm 3-1 in my last 4. They came to my house and begged me to fight Max Holloway at UFC 300. I consider it an exhibition fight. I don't mean the loss doesn't count. I mean it had nothing to do with the rankings." He continued by pointing out that while he took that risky fight, others benefited from easier paths. "In the time that I did that, Dustin Poirier, who I just beat, got a good win over Benoit Saint-Denis and then fought for the belt. Gaethje is clearly frustrated that fighters he's already defeated are getting opportunities that should have gone to him." He also brought up that Islam Makhachev, the champion, was saying he wanted to fight Gaethje before he vacated the title, so in his view, the matchup was right there. Easy to make, but instead of following through, the UFC passed him over again and gave Charles Olivera, who is 2-2 in his last 4 fights and already has a loss to Islam, another title shot. Gaethje didn't hold back in his message to the organization. "I'm not going to fight any of these motherfo heirs for fun unless they pay me so much more money," he said. For Gaethje, the time for free entertainment is over. It's title or nothing. Moving on to another news update, ILIA Topuria had some choice words for PADDY PIMBLETT today, and he did not hold back. Taporia made it clear that he absolutely hates Paddy and would love to fight him simply because, in his words, he's a pain in the ass. This isn't just about competition, this is personal. The heat between these two has been simmering for a while, and now it looks like Taporia wants to settle things in the octagon. In a recent interview, ILIA didn't mince words. He said, "He's a hypocrite. I remember we shared a press conference once, and he said something like, 'I'm fighting on the main card and you're on the prelims.' Now I'm thinking, I have 2 belts. Where are you? Who the feiko is PADDY PIMBLETT right now, and why would he deserve to fight me?" Those comments show just how little respect ILIA has for Paddy, both as a fighter and as a personality in the sport. But despite the disrespect, Taporia still wants the fight, not for rankings or titles, but for pride and to give fans something truly raw and exciting. "Honestly, if I could choose a fight, I would fight him because I hate him," Taporia said. "He's a pain in the ass. I'd love to give that fight to the fans because for a long time, I believe that in the UFC, you haven't seen a real fight. 2 people who genuinely want to beat each other up. And what better way than to do it in front of the world and put on a show?" Taporia ended his rant with a chilling warning. "I know what's going to happen and it won't be good for him." The message is clear. So if this fight ever happens, ILIA's not just looking for a win. He's looking to make a statement. Moving on to another news update, and things just got more intense ahead of UFC 317. Charles Olivera has officially issued a warning to ILIA Topuria in response to the Rising Star's bold claims. With the UFC 317 title fight rapidly approaching, the trash talk is reaching new levels, and the tension between these 2 warriors is undeniable. Taporia has been fearlessly vocal, sending shockwaves through the lightweight division. He's stated multiple times that his punching power at 155 pounds will be so dangerous that it could quite literally splatter brain matter. According to him, when he lands clean, it won't just rattle his opponents, it'll end them. He's also said that his power will be unmatched and devastating, hyping up the fight as one of the most violent potential matchups in recent history. This explosive narrative has fueled excitement for their highly anticipated June 28th showdown, which will crown the new UFC lightweight champion and likely shake up the division for years to come. But Charles Olivera, also known as Du Bronx, isn't buying into the hype. In a recent interview with Full Violence, the Brazilian legend responded to ILIA's terrifying predictions with a cool head and a chilling message of his own. When asked about ILIA's claims, especially given that Justin Gaethje, arguably the hardest puncher in the division, once said Olivera hits very, very hard, Charles didn't hesitate. "This is good," Olivera replied. "Gaethje was the most feared guy in the division. Everyone said he hit the hardest, and now even he says I hit hard. That's powerful. That shows the kind of firepower I carry. So if Taporia thinks he's bringing something new to the division, he should remember who's already been here and who's already taken out the best." Olivera went on to show respect to Taporia's toughness, acknowledging the step up from featherweight, but he didn't back down. "He's a tough guy, but he's coming up. You have to respect the lightweights. And for sure, I hit harder than Taporia. So the stage is set. Is Olivera underestimating Taporia's knockout potential? Or is Taporia walking into a veteran ambush that will teach him the difference between hype and reality? Either way, UFC 317 promises fireworks, and both men are ready to prove who truly owns the lightweight throne. Moving on to another news update, former UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping has made a bold prediction for the upcoming showdown between ILIA Topuria and Charles Olivera at UFC 317. While many fans are divided on who will come out on top, Bisping is firmly leaning toward ILIA, and he's got good reasons to back his pick. According to Bisping, the power in ILIA's hands is a serious factor that could change everything. He believes that Taporia's striking is not just explosive, it's significant enough to end the fight early. But beyond that, Bisping highlighted something many may have overlooked. ILIA's move up to 155 pounds could be the game changer. In his own words, Bisping stated, "I say this all the time. Everybody should move up a weight class and stop cutting so much weight. He looks big, he looks bulked up, he's going to be able to hit harder, take a better shot, and have better cardio. Just all around, he will be a much more improved athlete." That's a strong endorsement for the undefeated Taporia, who's already known for his devastating knockout power at featherweight. With less weight to cut, he may step into the cage stronger, faster, and more durable than ever before. But the story doesn't end there. In a recent interview with ESPN Deportes, ILIA Topuria himself made some very confident remarks about the fight. He not only respects Charles Olivera, calling him a legendary fighter and one of the few active greats in the UFC, but he also believes the matchup is tailor-made for him. Topuria said, "Charles is a great fighter, but the truth is, his style fits perfectly with mine. I will put him to sleep in the first round because he has no mobility. He doesn't move." This prediction has only added more heat to an already high-stakes battle. So, what's your take? Will Tapuria's power and size overwhelm Olivera, or will the veteran's experience and ground game silence the hype? Moving on to another news update, and things are heating up fast. Starting with ILIA Topuria, who recently shared some bold comments during an interview with ESPN Deportes. ILIA didn't hold back when asked about his upcoming showdown with Charles Olivera, making it clear that he believes Olivera's style is tailor-made for him, and that this fight won't last long. According to Taporia, Charles is a great fighter. I'd say he's a legendary fighter, one of the few still active in the UFC. But the truth is, his style fits perfectly with mine. I will put him to sleep in the first round because he has no mobility. He doesn't move. That's a strong statement, especially considering Olivera's record-breaking finishes in the UFC. But Taporia clearly sees something in the Brazilian's footwork and defense that gives him full confidence heading into their title clash at UFC 317. Now back to Justin Gaethje, who has reignited his frustration with the UFC over being passed up for a title opportunity. Gaethje's disappointment isn't new, but in a recent interview, he expressed just how betrayed he feels. He revealed that the UFC came to his house and begged him to fight Max Holloway at UFC 300, a bout that ultimately ended in defeat for him. Gaethje now refers to that bout as an exhibition, saying, "I don't mean the loss doesn't count, I just mean it had nothing to do with rankings." Gaethje pointed out the inconsistency in how other fighters were treated. Dustin Poirier, who I beat, got a win over Saint Denis and then fought for the belt. Meanwhile, since I won, the champion was asking to fight me, but they still passed me over. He continued, Charles Olivera, who is 2-2 in his last 4 and already lost to Islam, gets another shot. And me? I get nothing. I'm not doing this anymore unless they pay me a lot more money. Either I fight for the title, or I take a risky fight that could end my shot forever. That's not fair. Gaethje ended by saying, I've been consistent, I've put on fights for the fans, and I've stayed loyal. But at some point, the company needs to give back. I'm not throwing my legacy away for nothing. And finally, some wild and unexpected details have emerged involving Kamzat Chimaev, who reportedly got into a full-blown street fight with one of his own Dagestani teammates during a training session in Dubai. This shocking incident has sparked major discussion online. not just because of who was involved, but how it all went down. According to Chimaev's coach, Murad Bachwev, what started as a routine sparring session turned into a chaotic brawl. Emotions apparently flared during the session, and the pace escalated from technical to brutal. It got so intense that it went beyond what's considered normal inside a gym, but it didn't end there. The situation reportedly spilled outside the training facility, turning into a public spectacle as the two fighters continued swinging at each other in the street. Onlookers and gym members were shocked, and some even caught the action on video. According to one witness, "Yeah, I saw the full video, someone showed it to me. It started off as technical sparring, but you could see it shift. Things got emotional, the pace picked up, and it turned into a full-on brawl. Later, it continued outside the gym." Now look, that's one of those situations where if nobody else is talking about it, I'm not saying anything either, but yeah, it was intense. While Kamzat Chimaev is known for his aggressive, no-nonsense approach to training, this particular incident feels different. It's not just gym rumors. His own camp is leaking details, and alleged footage is circulating behind the scenes. Fans have taken to social media to criticize Chimaev's camp, suggesting that his environment may be too volatile. Many believe that allowing sparring to escalate into street-style brawls, especially with teammates, shows a lack of control and discipline. Whether this is just another example of Chimaev's intense kill or be killed mentality, or a sign that something needs to change within his inner circle, one thing is clear: this is yet another controversial chapter in the already dramatic story of Kamzat Chimaev.